Well, thanks for staying with us. First up, former Finance Minister Tekpa is warning of further downgrade of the country's credit rating in the next round of review if the country's macroeconomic indicators do not improve. According to him, the government is already struggling to finance the budget due to a number of factors, including the auctioning failures, or better still, the inability to meet its Treasury bills auctioning target. Now, speaking on the impact of rising inflation on the larger economy with a cross-section of journalists, Mr. Tekpa urged government to take a holistic look at the challenges facing the economy as the mid-year review budget looms.
Now, we are seeing clearly, and those of you who are in the financial press and patronize the domestic bond markets, and then the Treasury bills, that the government is not able to get, what it needs, by way of auctions. So that's what we call auction failures. In other words, if the government needs 100 billion, it is falling shy of the 100 billion, which is needed to support the budget. What does this mean? If that adds to the fact that we are not in the market, external market, because of downgrades and others, which is another of the problem, then it means that, financing the budget is becoming a difficulty. And we know already that compensation and interest was taking most of the budget revenue, and the budget was heavily dependent on debt. So we need to be clear what is going on, with this. We also know the depreciation of the cedi, which has been an issue for some time now for Bank of Ghana, including inflation, which has led the bank, to intervene in the markets in terms of foreign exchange and also beginning to increase, interest rates, which is one of the things the central bank uses, to fight this. So you can see that these are accumulation of issues that have been arising. And the issues I have mentioned are actually the issues you also confront, in addition to the sector issues, energy issues, road issues, and the rest, whenever you do either your own homegrown program or a program which is supported, by, say, the IMF. So this is the situation in which we find ourselves. And I must say that it is not a pretty, situation to be in. With the indicators going down, south, as they say, then what it means is possible that, we may be in for further, downgrades, when the next round of downgrades, ratings, come in.
While Mr. Tekpa also expects interest rates to rise further when the Bank of Ghana announces a new policy rate next week, which he says will come as a cost to both government and businesses.
Import inflation for the first time in 29 months has exceeded domestic inflation, which means that the center side of the economy, is having, some taking a lot of heat. So I hope I have drawn the correlation between sector issues, the budget issues, and the monetary issues, because the quick response which Bank of Ghana has, MPC, I believe, will be meeting next week, is likely, I do expect, actually, interest rates to go up further. And that would be a high cost to government when it goes to the domestic market to borrow, a high cost to private sector, because government is only able to compete with the private sector based on its offers, and that would have an effect, and a high interest cost also goes into the production cost, and doing business, in the country. So I would hope that, this would prompt, our legislators in particular to take a critical look as we go into the mid-year review.
To surge ahead of the expected hike in the policy rate of the Bank of Ghana from 17%. This is expected to increase the cost of doing business in the country further due to the rising cost of credit. Charles Nixon looks at the current Treasury bills auctioning and has more.
Interest rates on the money market keep rising on the back of rising inflation rates, as well as some perceived risk in the Ghanaian economy, particularly on the fiscal front. Investors have been expressing concern regarding government spending in the last 1.5 years, and that has affected inflation, and again has also affected interest rate, because government to a larger extent is struggling to mobilize funds on the money market. If you compare from January till date, interest rates have gone up by a little over 4%, which many analysts will expressed much concern about. The last auctioning, we saw the 91-day rate going up a little over 18%. That of the 182-day bill was doing a little over 19%, whereas the 1-year bill went for a little over 21%, and that means that cost of credit will go up. Banks usually factor in interest rate as well as inflation rate in pricing their loans. The figures from the central bank indicates that once again government failed to meet its target in terms of the sale of the short-term instrument, whilst government was looking for a little over 1.9 billion cedis, it got about 1.3 billion cedis. We expect the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana to increase the rate. Some are talking about 50 basis points, others are talking about 100 basis points, but the major decision to be taken by the central bank is to ensure that money supply is reduced in circulation.
Well, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is calling for tough measures to check the rising inflation. Inflation for the month of April hit 23.6%, the highest in 18 months. Responding to a question from Washington, D.C. in the U.S., Director at IMF's Africa Department, Abebe Selassie, expressed concern about how the rising rate could destabilize the economy.
If it threatens to accelerate. Why? Because inflation will erode the living standards of the poorest the most, right? So some action there is going to be needed. Action that's going to be detrimental, could be detrimental to growth recovery. So some very difficult trade-offs. Now, what can help? I think, first and foremost, looking at what internal resources there are to make sure that they're being allocated to the highest priority areas at this moment. I think, maybe more robust social protection programs in those geographic areas and those sectors of the economy where poverty has gone up. And that kind of emphasis, I think, is going to be really, really important.
Now, away from inflation and its impact, government has revealed plans to anchor industrialization on the establishment of a petrochemical industry. According to Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Kyerematen, this is to support the local auto industry and add value to Ghana's oil resources. He was speaking at the launch of the 75th anniversary of Deloitte Ghana. Here's more.
The Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kyerematen at the event indicated that government is aggressively pushing for the development of an integrated bauxite and aluminium industry. This, according to him, is to add value to Ghana's bauxite before exported. He added that government is on course with respect to its industrialization agenda through various reforms done at various sectors of the economy.
We are also aggressively pursuing an agenda to develop an integrated bauxite and aluminium industry. For many years, we've been shipping across our borders our bauxite without adding value. And for the first time, government has set up a corporation and an authority that is developing the full value chain from bauxite to alumina to aluminium. We also want to depart from the experience of other African countries that have used their oil and gas resources without adding value. So we are also aggressively pursuing a program of establishing a petrochemical industry in Ghana, because it's through the petrochemical industry that you get plastics, you get bitumen, gas produces fertilizer.
Meanwhile, country managing partner of auditing firm Deloitte Ghana, Daniel Kojo Owusu, speaking to Joy Business, stated that the firm will partner with the government to find solutions to societal problems.
We want to help to solve the problem of the society. We don't only want to live for profit, we want to live beyond profit. And you would have also seen the things that we talked about, and some of the things, the examples that I cited. What we want to do is to get closer to the communities where we live. We want to be able to work and partner with the communities, partner with the environment. We partner with the government so that we can drive to solve the problem of the society, and not only to live to make income, but to make an impact that matters on the society.
Deloitte Ghana, since its inception in Ghana, has supported other sectors of the economy.
All right, let's talk more about Deloitte Ghana's 75th anniversary. Joining me in studio, partners Yao Latte and Charlotte Fortunabe. Great to have you in studio. Yao is a friend of the show, and so yeah, it's good to see him in studio. In fact, and congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
75 years, you've come a long way. Let's reflect on the journey so far. How has it been? How would you describe it? Who's taking it?
I'll take it. Thank you, Daryl. So it's not been an easy journey. I mean, every journey has challenges, and there are highs and ups and downs. So we have J.D. Barnes coming into Ghana as the UAC Internal Audit Chief in 1939. And then in 47, 1st January, he went ahead to form Deloitte & Touche under the name J.D. Barnes & Co. Chartered Accountant. Over the period, there were mergers, there were strategic mergers, I should say, up until what we have now known as Deloitte & Touche. We were at the old place where people called Ibex Court, for Liberation Road, Ibex Court. But the story started before then, actually, at Cocoa House, and then moved there. And then now we find ourselves at George Walker Bush Highway. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. And so you're marking 75 years on the theme, making an impact that matters in Ghana. So tell me, what impact do you think you've made so far, Al?
Yeah, so I think, as you've seen in most of our thought leadership events, an industry contribution, Deloitte is one of our values is that profitability beyond or making impact beyond profit. And for any corporate organization, what you are looking at is your bottom line. Deloitte looks and thinks beyond profit. And I think if you look at some of the points that we've mentioned during the launch, we have supported society in so many different ways. One of the strategic things that we've done is to support market women at Abobloshi on accounting training and bookkeeping. We know that a lot of our market women, they have a lot of cash transactions, but they don't keep records. And we as accounting firm provided this for free. During the COVID period, we trained hundreds of SMEs online for free on how to mitigate the impact of COVID, how to manage their cash flow during the COVID period, and also pointed out to them on some of the government programs that were available to support SMEs during the COVID period. I think for us as Deloitte, we're doing this for free, not because we wanted to market ourselves, but because we wanted to make impact beyond profits that we're making. And I think if you look at our contribution to support the national economy, we published numerous articles, we contribute to budgets, fora, and discussions. We hold stakeholder engagement to solicit for views for budget preparation. And post-budget publication, we also have stakeholder engagement to get views from the public and business community on how we can prepare our budget and make it more business-friendly as opposed to just making money for government. I think we are interested in making impact in so many different ways.
Well, we started this bulletin talking about the economic situation in the country at this point, and there's so much happening, and it's critical at this point that we have some transparency, and that's what I guess you guys offer in terms of accounting and auditing. How crucial do you think your role is to getting us to a place where we, I wouldn't say are protected, but are able to navigate the challenges that we are facing right now?
Yeah, so I think as advisors, we advise not only business or private businesses, but we also have advice to government. And government, I'll look at it in a broader context. So we do work for ministry, department, and agencies. So we support the Auditor General in auditing some of the government agencies. So I think we are part of the process of ensuring accountability in the public sector. Beyond that, we also provide financial advisory and consulting services to governments. So ministry, department, and agencies, whenever they are embarking on various projects, we support with feasibility studies, we support with business case analysis. We also support with IT and consulting implementation. So where we have some ministry and department that's looking for training of their staff, we provide some of this training, and some of these are highly discounted, just because we want to be in a society where the good of the society, we also find our welfare. So if the government is doing well and government activities are progressing well, they are achieving their targets, as business community, we also get to benefit from that. And I think that's something that we are focusing on. We do know and appreciate the challenging times that we find ourselves in. And Deloitte staff, and I think as you know, we haven't kept quiet on that.
That's true.
We have
that's
commented on that, knowing that I think during the challenging time that we find ourselves, it's not only to Ghana, it is worldwide challenges. But we know that our contribution will be taken by government, and once they are taking them, we would all benefit from that. So we very much appreciate that.
Well, speak of challenging times. Let's talk about the challenges within the 74 years in terms of the work that you do. What are some of the, should I say, setbacks?
Well, the market is not an easy market. So you have to give up your best. I mean, now we don't even say competitors, we talk about industrial collaborators. So that's a term I learned last week. So yes, so we have to go out there, sell your business, but as a firm, we pride ourselves on having integrity. So you have to make sure that even where it goes against us, we still stand. And I mean, like I said, the market is there. Following clients is not easy. Sometimes on the job as well, you have tight deadlines to meet. You have people to take care of. Our staff have their families at home. Sometimes they don't see them, especially during what we call our peak season. But these are things that we try to live above. Challenges will always come, and we call ourselves the people who bring solutions to society, to businesses and all of that. So we try to implement some of them as well so that we can move forward.
All right, and let's talk about, because I heard your country managing partner talk about partnering with government to impact society. And so looking at the coming years, what are the plans in place?
Maybe I'll start with it. So initially, for now, we are looking at what we do is to deal with the unemployment situation in Ghana, for example. We have this, what we call the Deloitte Graduate Academy, where we take on a lot of the people who have done accounting, finance, have finished national service. They really have a lot of jobs to do. We bring them on board, we train them. We do this like 3 times in a year. So we are, in addition to whatever they've learned from school, the theory, we now add practicality and skills in order that they will become more marketable so that they can be hired. And some of these people are retained by Deloitte, and then some are also out there in the industry. They are hired and they provide their services. So that's one way of looking at the unemployment situation. We are trying to do that. In places where we want to do things like, we have something that we call Impact Day, where we adopt, like for a number of years, we adopted the Mampon School for the Deaf to be able to help them meet their financial needs and all of that. So those are some of the things that we are doing to ensure that life is easier for people in Ghana. Okay, and how are you marking 75 years? What are the activities lined up? Okay, that's fine. So last Friday, 13th May, we had the launch of the total event. In June, we plan to have an impact. In June, have an impact walk. Yes, where people will what we call the health work. There will be tips and all of that. We also have a program called, I mentioned the Impact Day. This is a global Deloitte program. But this year, we've actually adopted the program to be part of our celebration. We intend to plant trees on the 10th of June, all around. Everybody's invited to that. We're also working on adopting libraries across the country to refurbish them and also to restock them. So currently, we are working with an NGO that is scouting across the country to look for libraries in places, deprived places that need to have libraries. Those that don't have, out of these 7 places, those that don't have, we intend to build and stock with books. Those that have, we refurbish and bring in more books. So that's the program that we have also in June. And then we also have the Thanksgiving that will be at the end of the year as expected. We are planning a golf tournament. We are planning a whole host of other things, yes. But as the days draw nigh, it's across the year. So as the days draw nigh, we will make sure that we share the dates, the venue, the event, so that people who are interested can come and participate. Enjoy Business is partnering you to do this, so hopefully there'll be some parties too. And definitely, definitely. And thank you so much, Charlotte Fortunabe, partner, Deloitte, Yaolate, for joining us in studio. I really constrained myself not to ask you any economic question. Ask you about how the economy is faring. Yes, so thank you very much. So today we just get to talk about Deloitte. Grateful for your time. Thank you very much. Next, security matters. Over the weekend, the Ministry of National Security issued a warning for churches to enhance security in the face of growing terrorist attacks targeted at mass gatherings. Here's a bit of that statement I want to read to you right now. We would project on the screen, hopefully. It says, in view of the growing threat of terrorism from the sub-region, and expansionist drive of terrorist groups towards coastal West African states with a renewed modus operandi of targeting public gatherings, including places of worship, it is imperative that precautionary measures are taken by all stakeholders. It goes on to say, whilst the Ministry of National Security is collaborating with the relevant stakeholders to avert
terrorist attacks in the country, your outfit is aired to enhance security, particularly in the areas where mass gatherings are conducted, as signed by National Security Coordinator, Ambassador Major General Francis Edu Amanfo, retired. Now, aside from churches, potential hotspots are tourist sites and entertainment centers where there could be mass gatherings. So how are players in the tourism industry taking this warning? Joining me via Zoom, Executive Secretary of the Ghana Tourism Federation, Emmanuel Frimpong. Great to have you on our program this afternoon. So how seriously is the Federation taking this security warning?
And you are cherished viewers. As you rightly said, tourism is a serious thing for everyone, and especially for us in the tourism and hospitality sector, because any threat of tourist, any threat to tourists or any threat from terrorists is a threat to tourism in any country. So we have taken this warning seriously, even though it is not directed to us, but we have taken it seriously to the extent that as I speak with you now, letters have been sent to our partners, the trade associations, and all the members of the tourism sector for a meeting with the national security so that they will brief us more as to what is going on and what we need to do. Because as just last week, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture adorned our own Asamoah Gyan as a goodwill ambassador for the tourism sector. And then GT also signed MOU with Afrochella, expecting over 20,000 people in December. So this threat is something that we take seriously.
All right, do we have what it takes in terms of infrastructure, security infrastructure to protect patrons? And what kind of support do you need?
I think we have what it takes to protect the country. I mean, Ghana, when it comes to security, I think we come to the top in Africa. So I believe, and this is not the first time we're having such a threat. We've always had it, but our security agencies have always done their bit to make sure we are secure. And I believe they will do what they have to do. And one of the things that they are doing is to bring all of us on board to actually inform us what they know, and then also help us to identify such people if we see them. Because normally in our daily lives, we take a lot of security issues for granted as Ghanaians. So when we get to know, then we will also help our members to understand their security threat, and also to be able to identify such people that may pose as a threat to our security. And also educate our families, because sometimes when these people come, they don't just sleep in hotels. They live in the community and people see them. So we have to educate the community as well to be able to identify such people.
A quick one, if you could do that in 30 seconds for us. Do you think people will be discouraged to patronize events and visit places because of the warning coming through? What assurances?
Not at all. Not at all. What we are doing is to assure them that when they come, they will be secure. Security will be at post. We are also training tourism security, tourism police, as we've always mentioned it, in the community. So tourists should be assured that they will be safe when they come to Ghana.
Emmanuel Frimpong, always great to talk to you, Executive Secretary of GATOF. I appreciate your time. On the money market, government recorded a subscription rate of 63.68%, or better still, achieved a 63.68% target of its treasury bill sale at higher interest rate. Government was expected to mobilize 1.96 billion cedis. So how did the market fare last week, particularly reaction from investors following the increase in inflation rate? Joining us is Edem Agama, who is head of trading at Republic Securities. It's a first for us, so I welcome you to the marketplace. What's happening so far today?
Well, good afternoon. So far on the market, we are seeing that the market's becoming a bit hostile. Investors are gradually getting to sense the desperation in with regards to government. We saw that the 91-day treasury bill closed at 18.22%. But one thing we should note is that bids as high as 19 let's say 1 were accepted for the 91-day Treasury bill. Also, for the 182-day Treasury bill, we saw that it closed at 19.26, but we saw that bids as high as 19.5 were accepted. That's indication that the government is a bit desperate, and investors are getting to know this. For the 364-day bill, bids as high as 29% were accepted. And still, with this, the government was not able to reach its target. So it's a clear indication that they are desperate, and investors are getting to understand this. This is also,
Yeah, speak of targets and desperation. Government is expected to raise an amount of 875 million cedis through the issue of the 91-day bill and 182-day bill this week. Can it achieve the full target this time around?
Definitely not. It's not possible for them to achieve the full target. This is in view of the issuance we have this week. We expect the issue of 182-day cocoa bill this week, which will be tomorrow. So I'm sure investors are going to pump a lot of money into that, and that is definitely going to affect the issuance by the end of the week.
And in 30 seconds, Adam, how is inflation impacting the market?
Well, now that investors are very much aware of where inflation is, they are pegging all their interest rates or desires to the inflation. So the inflation is becoming a benchmark for most investors. So if you give them something below the inflation rate, they are definitely going to reject that. So with that in mind, inflation is definitely affecting the market and expected to affect the market more.
All right, Adam Agama, grateful for your time on the marketplace. That's our program this afternoon. There is more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching.